Hi, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to this new edition of the India InsurTech podcast. Today, we have with us Dhruv, who's the Chief Business Officer of PB Partners. Great to see you today, Dhruv.
Thank you, Prashant. The pleasure is all mine that you've invited me on this podcast.
No, it's the pleasure is ours. I would love to start with you with your introduction a little bit and then get to know what PB Partners is and what's your mandate as Chief Business Officer.
Yes. So I've been with the PB Fintech Group, which is the Policybazaar Group, for last 13 and a half years. Done various roles, started building out the health insurance business, was the chief operating officer for some time, did a few initiatives here and there. And about 3.5 years back, we started PB Partners. We started PB Partners when we got the broking license. I think our fundamental objective and the mandate that we had when we started PB Partners was that Policybazaar had been around for a very long time, more than a decade, and we could see consumers coming on the platform and transacting, researching about health insurance, life insurance, motor insurance, so on and so forth, right? But we could still see a lot of consumers who did the research but did not buy online because somewhere they preferred a personal touch and more trust in that personal touch to buy insurance. And once we got the broking license, we decided to set up the PoSP distribution channel, which we called PB Partners. And the whole idea is to get on board partners who work with us, who can fulfill slash service the needs of consumers who are willing to research online, but would still prefer a face-to-face or a personal touch interaction with somebody who's well versed with the nuances of insurance. So I think that's the mandate that we've had about PB Partners. And I think in 3.5 years, we've been able to, touch a lot of lives of end consumers. We have sold roughly about 6 million policies till date. We have roughly about 2.5 lakh agents onboarded. Roughly about 60,000 of them work with us month on month. So I think we've crossed this, we've reached a certain journey, but I think the mandate again is still that there's a massive opportunity. I think there is a massive reach that we have to achieve as both as Policybazaar and as PB Partners.
Understood. All right. I think this is interesting. But I'd like to start by understanding a little bit about accessibility. So I think the regulatory word for your partners is POSPs, point of
Yes,
sales persons. Uh,
yes.
I'd love to understand how is this POSP model breaking barriers when it comes to making insurance accessible to different segments of society? And are you really able to help enhancing the penetration of insurance in the tier two and tier three segments, or do you even cater to the tier one segment? So I'd love to understand maybe the landscape, and then are you really able to bring accessibility in the tier two, tier three space?
So, Prashant, just to give you some statistics, roughly about 77% of the transactions that we do are tier two and below, right? So, if you look at the buying behavior of consumers in metros or tier one, largely, whether it's the trust of brand Policybazaar or digital platforms or their relationship with their banks, right? They largely have good accessibility and awareness about the products that they want to buy, and they have a deep relationship as well as trust as far as the brands like Policybazaar, which is a B2C brand, is concerned, right? But when you go to, again, as I said, when you go to tier two and below, somewhere they prefer a personal touch. And I think the fact that we've been able to achieve that sort of penetration in our overall business as far as PB Partners is concerned is that we've been able to create a trust between us and our insurance partners or agent partners or POSPs as we call them, which in turn and because they have a relationship with their end consumers, a strong network and a strong relationship with their end consumers, we've been able to penetrate very well. Though we've started with motor, which is an easier product for our partners to understand and scale up volumes on. But slowly and gradually over the last couple of years, we've also seen increased penetration of health and life as well. Even in health and life, the bulk of the business or the bulk of transacting partners are actually from tier two, tier three, and below. If you know, and when I go meet our partners, when I go meet our employees, I come across cities where I hadn't thought that, people would end up buying health insurance, right? And that too a high sum insured. But I think consumers are getting aware. I think partners are using a platform to make consumers aware of the products that are available, about the solutions that are available in health and life. And somewhere using a platform, they are able to leverage our platform and help their end consumers actually buy these products.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you're building out this platform to help the agents get educated, be able to look for different products, and then sell whatever they think is best for their customers. And tell me a little bit more about this platform. How are you able to leverage technology? Are you able to really enhance courses and education material for them to get more and more educated about these products? How's the platform helping them reach their audience in a more effective and efficient manner?
So I'll just take a step back and tell you the journey of how we onboard a POSP partner and what is it that our kind of what is it that our platform offers to the partner and their end consumer, right? So first and foremost, I think our regulator introduced these guidelines way back in 2015, and the whole idea was how can we increase insurance penetration, right? And to increase insurance penetration, especially in rear bhalat as we call it, was can we first reduce the entry criteria of people who want to solicit insurance, right? So they reduce the entry criteria of
Okay.
people who can gain certification for insurance. So when a partner is onboarded, he has to have a certain basic qualification, which is 12th pass now. Once he is onboarded, he goes through a brief training program so that he can then he's then certified as a POSP, and then he can sell insurance. But that certification is just not enough, right? I think the kind
Yeah.
of products that are there, the kind of offerings that are there, I think there, what through both our physical trainings, our physical engagements, and we've got roughly about 2,000 employees in 500 plus cities, right? As well as our digital training platforms, right? Ensure that our training programs, whether it is DIY, which is do it yourself, or with whether it is on OJT as we call it, which is on the job training programs, the agents time and again upskill their knowledge, upskill their awareness of the latest products that are available in the market. We've also introduced digital goal planners in case of life and digital recommendation journeys in case of health, so that when our agent partners sit in front of the consumer, they are able to do the need analysis using our
Yeah.
platform, so that they can recommend the most relevant offering for the partner, right? So I think in terms of onboarding, in terms of training them both at their own convenience as well as on the fly when they're sitting in front of the customer, doing the need analysis of the customer at a real time basis, then ensuring if when the customer is satisfied with the recommendation from the platform as well as from the agent partner, taking the customer through the end-to-end journeys that we've built, right? And then ensuring in case of straight through, there's an instant policy issuance. In case of non-straight through, whether it's a
Oh,
counter where there's an inspection needed, there is a virtual inspection process. Whether it's a in case of no, in case of health and life, there's a tele underwriting process. So basically, what we've done is we've taken the entire tech stack that we got from policybazaar.com, implemented slash customized that for the POSPs, and giving them a very seamless experience of not just be getting onboarded, getting trained, but also ensuring that they have a great experience for their end consumers while the entire transaction gets completed, right? So that is how PB Partners is leveraging the tech stack built both by Policybazaar and by us over the last so many years, so that the partner can give a great information as well as a buying experience to its end consumers.
all right. So you've tried to make onboarding easy, training them sufficiently. You're enabling them as well with all the programs. I really find this interesting, which you have, which is digital goal planners and on-the-job trainings. In all these complicated products that we have, which is health insurance and life insurance and complications of it, does it really equip them to understand the nuances? Do you even have do you have a test or a qualification criteria on it, or that you skip right now?
No, so there is definite a qualification criteria, but as I said, that is basic qualification of or basic certification of knowing the basic nuances of what a life insurance is, what a motor insurance is, what a health
Okay.
insurance is, right? But if you look at the kind of innovation that's happening in these products, right? whether it's pertaining to room rent, whether it's pertaining to pre and post.
Yeah.
I think for even people like you and me to remember the features, we may remember the broad definition of features, right? But the feature in itself has a different meaning for an offering by insurer A to by insurer B, right? So to practically remember, it's not easy. And somewhere
Yeah.
digital tools and access to this information, which is available real time, I think is very, very critical for even people like you and me to kind of sit in front of a
Right.
customer and explain about health insurance and term insurance or life insurance. So I think yes, the certification is there so that there is basic understanding of insurance, but the tech enablement, right, the platform which gives information so that all the queries of the consumer are answered on a real time basis. I think that is where the real meat as far as PSP distribution is concerned.
Okay. And just an add-on question to this. From a complaints perspective, now I know that you're doing everything you can to enable them. I'd like to know
Yes.
from a consumer perspective, do you receive complaints of mis-selling? Are you seeing that your partners are really able to, sort of make the most of the trainings and enablements you're giving them? And is it resulting into some positive metrics on the complaint side and on the cancellation side?
So I think I'll tell you one thing that we try to do something differently, right? One is ensuring that enough information is available for the consumer when he's filling up the proposal form before he's making the payment, right? But at times it could happen that in a hurry, maybe the consumer kind of misses out the smaller nuances. So what we typically end up doing, and again, taking a cue from our vast experience in Policybazaar, is that we also do something called a welcome call, right?
Okay.
Which is sort of a verification call as well, where we ensure that we kind of ask the right questions, where we know that historically there could be a case of, I would not call it mis-selling or misrepresentation, but also at times missing out on critical information which may have an impact on claim. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's see, and if you ask me, I think more than mis-selling or misrepresentation, at times it's at times it's oversight, which may eventually lead
Yeah.
to rejection in claim, right? So we ensure that at least the customer is aware that these are these are the questions, or these are the critical information that he should go through once again while the policy is being issued. So I think we kind of try and do that. And yes, as compared to some of the other offline distribution channels, we've seen our complaints of mis-selling kind of low. We've seen, and that is also evident in our rejection ratio as far as losses are concerned, right? So we don't only look at the loss ratio, but we also look at the rejection ratio, claim rejection,
Yeah.
right? So if the claims rejected are at a lower benchmark as compared to where the industry is, which basically means somewhere kind of we are ensuring that the customer's aware of what he is buying, even if the at times the POSP is not able to give out all the complete information. So yes, we have,
Wow,
we
that's
have
amazing.
certain checks and balances to ensure that there is sanity in the solicitation process.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'd also like to get your learnings on this. Now, we've seen motor, health, these are the typical lines of business that sell,
Yes.
and which includes life as well. I'd like to know if there are any other new lines of business that you see interest coming in from. Are you seeing upward trends in any new lines of business apart from the usual suspects, which are the health, motor, life ones?
So I would say as far as insurance penetration is concerned, Prashant, I think there is still a massive opportunity as far as pure protection and health is concerned, right? I think if you look at the statistics, I think still health insurance and life insurance itself is hugely underpenetrated as far as our country is concerned, right? So I think more than introducing new lines of business, I think it's about ensuring that the protection needs of the consumers or of the large population is kind of taken care of, right? Life or term, as we call it, is more about in case of a death, the family, the liability and the family expenses are kind of taken care of. And obviously there are supplementary products like critical illness, like personal accident, which are largely related to some incident or the other. And in case of health, in case there is a medical emergency, there are no strains on the personal finances of the family. I think there is a lot of personalization and customization that are happening around these product categories, But if you ask me, introduction of new categories, if you ask me, I don't think there is a need. I think the need is
Okay.
to marry the supply and the demand, the supply from the insurance companies and the demand of the consumers. Yes, the demand of the consumers may be very different as far as health and life are concerned, right? The supply may be of a higher sum insured, but the demand may be of a lower sum insured, right? And I think our the needs of a tier two, tier three consumer may be different from our needs of a tier one consumer. So how do we ensure that the products are personalized or customized in nature, are more modular in nature? I think those sort of innovation are coming around as far as health and life are concerned, and I think that is the need of the hour rather than kind of creating new lines of business. I think there is still a lot of penetration that has to happen in pure protection as we call it, right? Whether it's health or whether it's life.
Right.
Yes, personalization, customization, marrying the supply and demand are very, very critical. And I think if we are able to do this job successfully over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, I think we would have definitely helped achieve or contribute to the goal of insurance for all by 2047.
Wow. Yeah. I think that's a really good statement. And from a distribution perspective as well, I think the channel seems to be growing. I'd love to get your sort of macro take on, and you talk about 5, 10, 15 years, right? I'd love to see get your view from the top on how do you see this channel growing? Give me some trends from the past. Have you seen sufficient growth in the last 3, 4 years? And moving forward, where do you see this channel growing into?
I think there is on the whether it's motor or whether it's life or health, or whether it's commercial lines or SME as we call it, right? I think on
Yeah.
motor and SME, and these are sort of asset protected protection products. I think yes, the penetration is quite large, but I think still there is a lot of scope on both a lot of uninsured two-wheeler and four-wheeler getting insured using this channel. A lot of SME and MSMEs, getting insured using the fire, marine, and other sort of insurances that exist for SME and MSMEs. Because ultimately, if you look at the basic principle of insurance, right, it is basically protecting from any unforeseen circumstance, right?
Right.
There is motor and commercial lines for assets, and there is life and health for a human, right? So, and when you look at the statistics, I think we are largely underpenetrated on whether it's asset insurance or whether it's human insurance. So, yes, from an opportunity perspective and trend perspective, we've seen uh, immense growth, at least in our when we look at in our business. I think on the offline distribution, we've been growing more than 100% year on year. A bulk of that business is coming from tier two, tier three. We have, seen very good, I would say, case studies of those partners coming on board as POSPs who are new to insurance, right? And that gives us a sign that yes, somewhere the offerings that we have for our POSP partners, right? Even people who are new to insurance are willing to come on board and see if they can serve their existing network as far as insurance needs are concerned, right? And I think for us, that's the one single metric that we track is that how many people are we able to bring new to insurance? When I say people, we're talking about the POSP partners, right? So it's not that we are creating a distribution channel for people who are already into insurance and selling insurance, and they're getting a better offering from PV partners. I think one metric that we clearly track is how many people are we bringing into the insurance domain as far as selling insurance is concerned. And I think it's very encouraging when you meet these people across the country to say that we've always seen, but now with your kind of platform, I think we are ready to take the plunge of getting into insurance distribution. So yes, I think, as I said, I think next 5, 10, 15 years is going to be very interesting, both from the reach of distribution and the reach of product offering in health and life. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be great to see the kind of enablement. I'm sure you'll be using the latest technology to help your agents and your partners do better from an enablement perspective as well. And I'm sure there's a lot to solve in the even in the onboarding and the training space. I think
Yes.
we're all cheering for you, Dhruv, on this, and I think our viewers are getting to will get to learn a lot from hearing you and all the metrics that you've shared with us. So thanks a lot for the podcast, and it was great having you with us.
Thank you, Prashant. Thank you so much, time. It was lovely talking to you.